Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave Dubeau.
Hey, gang, welcome back. Let me ask you a question. When it comes to high ticket clients, what is your definition of high ticket? Is it a $5,000 client? Is it a $10,000 client? Oh my goodness, is it a $20,000 client? Well, today, my special guest, Samantha Hartley, helps people land six-figure clients. And if you're mathematically challenged like I am, that means like $100,000 or more. So Samantha, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me on, Dave.
So Samantha, you've been in the business for a while now. And maybe tell us a little bit, number one, like who is your ideal client that you're able to help the most? Who are these kind of coaches or consultants or advisors that you work with?
I work mostly with corporate consultants. So a lot of times they have come out of corporate America like I did, and then they turn around and they either work literally with that company or those companies that they came from or something similar to that. So they come out with a specific expertise and a knowledge of what corporate is like, which really helps them to get the best possible results for those organizations because they know what really works there. They know what the challenges are in corporate. And really specifically, they know that when you're trying to do something inside the organization, you don't really have as much ability to bring in new ideas as you do when you're a consultant. So they use that outside perspective to get results for their clients.
Very, very cool. So Samantha, I've never worked in big time corporate myself. So whole different
Lucky.
world for me. Well, yeah, maybe so, maybe no. But what would you say are some of the biggest challenges your clients have leaving that nice, well, maybe not so nice, but that corporate cocoon, so to speak, where everything's, sales and marketing might have been done for them in the past, admin was done, bookkeeping was done. Now they're independent business owners, consultants. They kind of have to wear all the hats. What are the biggest challenges you see these folks having striking it out on their own?
All the stuff you just named. So a lot of times they didn't have a business background. I mean, they had like that either an MBA or they just had, the skill set. I mean, I was in corporate America. I didn't have an MBA. I have a liberal arts degree, but whatever got you hired in the first place and made you successful within that organization, being able to function in a corporate environment, I kind of compare it to the military. There are just a basic set of skills that you have. There's a structure that you're used to working in. Yeah. But as you mentioned, it's all done for you. Like that whole infrastructure is all around you. And when they go out on their own, a lot of times they're like, I mean, in my case, I didn't know how to find clients. And I'd really never looked for a job in my life. I mean, I just kind of fell into situations, or I thought I did. And that was kind of the way I cracked the code. I realized I hadn't just fallen into these lucky situations and found jobs. It was like, oh, no, that was networking and that was referrals. So a lot of my clients have done the same things. Well, they'll come out and then usually through who they know, they begin to get consulting gigs. But finding clients is the first challenge. Getting stuff done when you're the one, like you're not accountable to someone outside of yourself when you're just running the consulting business. And so a lot of times really just like managing their own day is one of the big things that they have to get over. Do I do this to all of this admin stuff myself? Should I bring somebody in? When is it time to bring someone in? All of those kinds of things. Yeah. And then I think how finding those clients and really setting up the work so that, understanding scope and how to.
Well, what about even like packaging and pricing their services, their offers? Is that a challenge for people?
Where I worked, there was literally a department of the organization that did pricing and packaging. And so
you didn't even know what they were charging for your services kind of thing. You're getting a paycheck back in the corporate days, and now you had to figure all that out.
Yeah, we had so most people have to figure that out. I won't say they have no idea because usually they do what I did, which is there was a consultant that I worked with, and I just asked her. I said, I'm thinking of going out on my own. Can you help me with just like what should I know? And she was super helpful. I mean, one of the simplest things she said was like track your expenses, have 2 different bank accounts, just the super basics. Yeah. And really,
you wouldn't know otherwise, right? I mean,
how would you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's challenging. Well, it's challenging for everybody, Samantha, for sure. So, Okay, now I kind of got the gist of who you're working with. So people that have gone out of corporate for whatever reason, now they're consultants and they're figuring all of that out. It might be interesting. You've got your own story, but what would be an example of one of your favorite client success stories that you can kind of walk us through this story? I love people telling you stories about how this works.
Me too.
And kind of, take us through what was that person doing in corporate life? Why did they leave? When did they leave? Maybe don't give names if it's whatever. Yeah. But, and then, what did they struggle with trying to figure this out on their own? What were they bumbling around with? And then how did you kind of help them transform things?
This is, I have a dozen stories, but here's one of my favorite ones. Yeah. Cheryl came out of mid-sized manufacturing. And since I have that beverage and manufacturing background, we just clicked, spoke the same language. So she had been at it about a year, and like most clients, my clients, or like most consultants, she had found clients here and there, but she was still charging by the hour because she thought that's what clients did. I mean, consultants did. She wasn't really happy with who she was working with or how the work had gone, because she didn't realize, I think, again, this is not obvious. You shouldn't just work with everybody who wants to hire you. You need to have some discernment about who you work with. So during that first year, she was pretty happy with what she made. I think it was about 150 by the end of the year when it was all said and done. So when she came to me, she was like, I have just big ideas and big dreams. And she said, the universe tells me I have a $2 million year business. And I said, I believe the universe. So let's build it. That first year, a lot of the things that we're talking about, like who could help her, me and my organization, we came in to try to help her with the marketing and with strategy and with setting all those things up. But she didn't have a team. So we ended up doing a lot of things for her. So she had a lot of the support, and then it was up to her. And she was really challenged with the idea of like going and selling herself, because for those of us who came out of corporate, like what you're selling is whatever the organization sells. And so you're basically selling yourself to your manager to keep your job, kind of thing. That totally. You sell in your ideas. If you're doing a meeting about like, I'd like to get this budget, you have to sell that in. But you very rarely are like what you are selling. It feels like it's yourself. So one of the things I'll say to my clients is, no, you are precious. We're not selling you. You're selling a service to them. You're selling an outcome that they want. But anyway, however you want to state it, it was hard for her. So she was really comfortable selling this little community that she was doing, and it was about $1,000 a person. And I was like, no. Yes, for this is great, but let's talk about these organizational clients. So about 5 months had gone by, and she'd sold a couple of little things, but I was like, come on, honey, we're doing a $2 million thing here. So she went to a trade association meeting, and this is big for consultants. Like, where are your clients gathered? She went to that trade association meeting where she's kind of a rock star. Like, they know her from all of her many high-level jobs that she'd had at corporate. Came out of there with leads and closed all those clients. And it was about a $600,000 ad to that year.
Wow. So she went from selling $1,000 thing to selling
a few things that were $120,000 to $150,000 things.
Wow. And do these things tend to be custom built for the client? So you're kind of doing a proposal and all of that thing, or do you get your clients to create packages that they're offering, or some combination thereof?
It's usually some combination. But in her case, it's really instructive, because what I had told her was, how do we get from a $150,000 business to a $2 million business? I mean, this is my gift, is that swing right there. So when they come to me doing 500-ish, I'll get them to 2 million. So she was in the beginning doing bespoke or custom, like whatever they said they needed. And that's mostly because she didn't yet, she had that signature system inside of her, but she didn't know what it was yet. Yeah. And so what I told her was, you're probably going to spend 2 years, maybe even 3 years working with clients, figuring out what your system is. And about year 2 or 3, we're going to be able to pull that out of you. And then you're going to be able to package that and promise the results that will get based on what you've gotten before. So that's usually the trajectory of this. Sometimes they'll have come out and they'll have that system already, but usually they'll need to work that out with clients, and then seeing the results that they get, they also are seeing like what I tried that didn't work. And all of that knowledge leads to a package, and then we can do pricing. And I like to do value-based pricing, which means that if I'm doing this for A $2 million company, it's going to be one level of investment. And if this is a $250 million company, it's going to be a different level of investment. And it's not just because that's harder work for the consultant themselves, because it may or may not be, but it's mostly because the value that's going to be experienced by that client is so disproportionately more that we need to charge accordingly.
Interesting. That's very, very cool, Samantha. So you touched a little bit on what you recommend your clients do to generate business. So that one client went to a trade association meeting that she was already a rock star at. What about the other folks who aren't necessarily rock stars or don't see themselves as rock stars anywhere? What are the usual marketing channels that you're recommending to them for this? Because again, it sounds to me like you're not, like a lot of coaches and consultants, they're looking for volume of clients. In this case, it sounds like it's very cherry picking the kind of people that you want to do and doing much larger contracts with them with a few whales versus a whole bunch of sardines. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Oh, no, it's very well said. Very well said. So how I teach my clients to work is, and people will come to me and they'll say, well, I've had 40 clients last year, but I'm fried. Just exhausted from that. And also, I don't know that I got the best results with everybody because there were so many of them. And they may even have a team or an organization, which is most of my clients do. But that kind of volume, they don't feel like they're able to do their best work. And they still, believe it or not, will have what I call the revenue roller coaster, which is you have just these big swings from month to month. And I don't like that. So what I'll teach them to do is what I call a revenue pyramid, where the base of your pyramid is 5 to 10 of what you're calling whales, 5 to 10 transformational engagements where you're in there working with a client for at least a year. It's at least $100,000. For many of my clients, this is a $250 level, even $400, $500, $800 level, $800,000 level. It depends on who they are and what they're doing and what their experience level is. But it's a minimum of 100. And you can imagine 5 to 10 of those is the base of your business. The middle of your pyramid can be anything from assessments you do, like the kind of things that you'll do that are those short-term projects most consultants will do. I like to put those in the middle because that's where the revenue can go up and down. And the tip top of your pyramid may be like a speaking engagement, or you have like a collaborative, any kind of like one-time opportunity that's like, great, that was super, but you can't, like, I wouldn't bank my business on that. Right. So building this 5 to 10 at the base of your pyramid is what I'm really looking for. And where you can...
Everything else is pretty much gravy on top of that.
Absolutely. It's gravy. Yes. And that will, most consultants' business are either the tip of that pyramid or it's the middle of that pyramid. And truly, when people come to me now, they've usually been in business for a while and they figured a lot of stuff out. And it's just that they have, like, they're stuck and they can't grow because they're working too much with too many clients, or they still have this revenue roller coaster thing. And they're like, I'm successful enough, I should not have this, but why do I still have this stress? Right. And it's because strategically the business model isn't correct according to what I think. And so where they find those can be, a lot of times if you turn around, you'll be able to sell right back to that organization you worked with. And as I said, or similar organizations, they can do fractional roles, or they can bring in some kind of like specialized skill set, which is what a lot of people are looking for. And, nowadays the hot thing is the AI piece. Those organizations don't want to have to learn that. And the advantage we have as consultants is that we see inside of so many organizations that you can take all of the stuff that you've seen, all of the stuff that you've hopefully been experimenting with AI and learning about, and then merge that together and turn that into an offer. So back to your pricing and packaging question, that's the kind of thing that we would package something like that. And then you can, shop that as we would more in a traditional business, or you can just listen to your clients and see what they're looking for and is what you're doing specifically going to work for them.
Very interesting. All right. So going back to existing and past clients, you gave the example of the trade association. What are some other ways to generate new business for consultants that, especially looking to fill up those 4 or 5 whales at the base of the pyramid, and then also maybe to get some of those mid-level gigs as well?
Totally. I heard Steve Chandler's interview with you because I'm his huge fan, and he talked about the power of in-person, and I'm all about that. One thing that happened during COVID was everybody who had never been online discovered oh my gosh, there's this LinkedIn thing. Like, this is amazing. I could sit on my tush at my office and I can just like create all of this, whatever. And, you know, I can get clients this way, and you totally can. So LinkedIn to your email newsletter, that funnel, as we call it in our, in the online marketing world, for a lot of consultants, that this is not language. A lot of my clients, when they come to me, they're like,
I don't know what funnels are.
I don't know what it is exactly. Yeah. Right. So, but that little directional thing of LinkedIn to, and even to something like a webinar, to your email list, and like a nurturing platform, that's what a lot of consultants are realizing they can do. But what I love, and having lived in like the middle of the country, these middle markets from like Pennsylvania to Las Vegas, like that whole middle where we have manufacturing and small businesses, family-owned businesses, that those places are great for just in-person networking. Well, is it these dreadful chamber events? Maybe, but a lot of times it's just you in your world and in your life, like hanging out at the at where you play golf, or after church, or in the community events, like you volunteer at the charity, or you're on the board of the something, or this local celebrity golf thing. Like, right. Just being yourself out and about. And having that charm and charisma and magnetic personality that you have, and being able to like have good conversations with smart people, that is so, it's so instrumental in leading to consultants getting the kind of clients where you don't have to do any selling once you're in there. They're like, hey, it's Maggie or it's Mike. And then they bring them into these organizations, and then you have this conversation, and those kinds of engagements, that's where you can be like, well, it's a $20,000 a month investment. We're going to work on this for a year. And they go, okay, let's do it. So that's, I love that in person, if you're in a location where you can do that kind of thing. I mean, my clients literally like every single week, they're like, yeah, well, we were at the soccer practice, or we were, a couple of my neighbors got together and did a something. That is actually where this kind of thing happens.
Nice. So for folks, as we're kind of wrapping this up, Samantha, for folks that aren't naturally gifted at being super charismatic, or they're a little bit on the introverted side, any quick tips on how to get out of that comfort zone and have those conversations, get those things, those relationships going?
I mean, it may not be for you, and there are other ways to do things. So it's, publishing and things like that are more helpful. You could also host events. I find introverted people feel better when they're not going into a room full of strangers, but when people are coming into the strangers are coming into their room, so that can feel better. And
one of the reasons I love doing a podcast.
There you go. Exactly. You get to meet a bunch of people, and you're still you're the person who's doing it. It also makes you like a little local celebrity in your crowds, because you probably aren't in, all of your personal friends aren't also hosting podcasts, which is usually the case. So I think that kind of thing makes it better. But if you do go to those, I call them dreadful, but they're going to be wonderful chamber events. How are they wonderful? Walk into them and like, where are your people? Take a friend, if we did tag team dating, I like tag team networking. Take a friend and say, at this event, I'm looking for 2 people who are working at that one company I really want to get an entree into, or anybody who talks about this as a challenge for them. And then you strategize at the beginning, you go your separate ways and kind of like meet different people. And then you can meet up at certain points if you feel like, oh, okay, I'm having stranger danger and stranger fatigue right now. I just need a little boost. Okay, now let's go back out.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's smart, because they tell them what you're looking for. They tell you what they're looking for.
Yep.
So when you're chit-chatting with people, you're looking for your ideal avatar, but you're also looking for your friend's ideal avatar in it.
Totally. And when they find them, what do? They go, hey, come here. Listen, you need to meet Samantha. She works with people exactly like you who have this challenge, and she can get them these opportunities. You guys definitely need to talk. They can also say things like, oh my God, she's amazing at what she does. You won't say that about yourself when you meet someone. You
can say that about your friend, and your friend will say that about you. Yes,
absolutely. And so it's this seeming, and I love the strategy behind it. It seems like, it's true. Of course, we're not lying and saying somebody's great at what they do. We're saying sincerely, you totally need to meet my friend. He's amazing at yada, yada. And then that person is like, oh my God, okay, cool. And I've been at these kinds of events with my clients when I taught a networking class, and we'd go and meet people. And then I've been in the room when somebody they'd say, oh, and what did you do? And one of my students will say, oh, I do blah, blah, blah. And that person will almost move me out of the way physically to get to my client because they're like, oh my God, that's what we need. And I'm always like beaming proud, like move me out of the way because that you want to have that kind of a magnetic message that when you say what you do, people are like, I've been looking for you. And serendipity works when you're out there. We can't have serendipitous moments sitting at home waiting for things to happen for us. Right. So if you go to a networking thing and you're like, that was crazy. I can't believe that happened. It was just like, I just showed up and they just showed up. Well, you put some effort in and got out there and we're brave. And then a great thing happened. So
that's wonderful. Very good tips. Samantha, this has been fantastic. I'm sure there's going to be some folks wanting to connect with you and find out more about what you do. I think you've got a resource for folks. Where can they get that?
I do. It's more of these strategies and some inspiring success stories. It's at sixfigureclients.com. That's the numeral 6 and then figureclients.com.
Sixfigureclients.com. Samantha Hartley, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been a lot of fun.
My pleasure, Dave.
And everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured? Share your story and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.